Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into the world of American coinage to uncover the mystery and magic behind one small but mighty piece of history, the 1971 Washington quarter dollar. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a quarter, worth 25 cents, right? But what if I told you that a rare version of this coin could actually be worth tens of thousands of dollars? Yes, you heard that right. So grab your coin jar, check those old drawers, and join me on a fascinating journey through the story, design, and shocking value of the 1971 quarter. Let's start with a bit of history. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, originally introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1971, the coin had already become a familiar part of everyday life across the United States. But even among billions of quarters minted over the decades, some stand out from the rest, and 1971 holds a few secrets that most people never noticed. In 1971, the U.S. Mint produced these quarters at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of them were regular circulation coins, made from a copper-nickel plaid composition, which had replaced the 90% silver content used in earlier decades. These coins weren't meant to be anything special, but as collectors know all too well, rarity often hides in plain sight. Now let's take a closer look at the design. On the front of the coin, we see a bold and dignified portrait of America's first president, George Washington, facing left. His name is inscribed above, with the word liberty and the national motto, "In God We Trust." It's a timeless and powerful image, a constant reminder of America's founding values. Flip the coin over, and you're greeted by a stunning image of a majestic eagle, wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing readiness and strength. Below the eagle are 2 olive branches, peace paired with power. It's a design rich in meaning, one that blends beauty and national pride into a coin we use every day. But what makes the 1971 quarter truly fascinating is not just the history or the design, it's the potential for rarity and hidden value. You see, most quarters from this year are only worth face value, or maybe a bit more if they're in excellent condition. But there are exceptions, and this is where things get exciting. Some 1971 quarters were struck with rare minting errors, imperfections that make them unique and highly desirable among collectors. These can include double dies, off-center strikes, and even quarters that were mistakenly struck on different metal planchets, such as leftover silver or transitional blanks. And when these rare errors are found in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, that's when the value skyrockets. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change that has a slight minting mistake, something barely noticeable to the untrained eye, but to a collector, it's a golden ticket. Combine that error with pristine condition, and suddenly, you're holding something far more valuable than just 25 cents. Over the years, coin experts and grading companies have verified a few of these rare 1971 quarters, and the prices they can command at auction are nothing short of jaw-dropping. While most people might toss this coin into a vending machine, others are cashing in big because they recognized what they had. So here's the question: do you have one of these valuable quarters hiding in plain sight? Look for signs like crisp, unworn edges, sharp details, and if you're lucky, unusual patterns or doubling in the lettering or image. Even the smallest anomaly can make a world of difference. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Just how much could one of these rare and valuable 1971 Washington quarters be worth? If you happen to have one of these elusive coins, in brilliant uncirculated condition and with a rare minting error, its value could reach as high as $85,000. That's right, $85,000 for a single quarter. It's proof that sometimes, fortune really can be found in the palm of your hand. So don't ignore your change. Dig through those old jars, revisit your childhood coin collections, and take a closer look. You never know what hidden treasure might be waiting to be discovered. Top 2. We're exploring a coin you've probably seen hundreds of times, maybe even used to buy a soda or toss into a wishing fountain. But what if I told you that one particular version of the 1979 Washington quarter dollar could be worth a fortune? Yes, this everyday coin could actually be your ticket to a small windfall. If you know what to look for. So grab your magnifying glass and stay with me, because the story behind the 1979 Washington quarter is more than meets the eye, and it might just change the way you look at your spare change forever. Let's roll back the clock to 1979. The United States was going through a dynamic period economically, politically, and culturally. Inflation was on the rise, the Cold War was still in full swing, and the US Mint was churning out billions of coins to keep up with growing demand. The quarter dollar had become one of the most used coins in circulation, and by this time, the Washington design was deeply embedded in American life. This coin, originally introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington, had seen decades of minting by the time 1979 arrived. The design remained largely unchanged: George Washington's noble profile on the front, and on the reverse, the proud eagle standing tall, wings spread, perched on arrows with olive branches beneath. Simple, patriotic, powerful, but what makes the 1979 quarter stand out among millions isn't just its classic design, it's the hidden variations and incredibly rare mint errors that can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary prize. Let's talk about how the coin was produced. In 1979, the U.S. Mint operated in three major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Quarters from Philadelphia have no mint mark, Denver quarters show a small D, and San Francisco minted proof coins marked with an S. For collectors, most of the 1979 quarters you find today are worth exactly what it says on the front, 25 cents. But there are some specific versions, especially those with errors or unusual characteristics, that have collectors scrambling to get their hands on them. One such example is a quarter with a dramatic double die error. This means that during the minting process, the coin was struck twice by the die in slightly different positions, causing the letters and numbers to appear doubled, particularly noticeable in words like Liberty or In God We Trust. These are not just printing quirks, they are minting mistakes that slipped through quality control and became the stuff of collector dreams. Another factor that boosts a coin's value is condition. Coins that have never been circulated, meaning they've never passed through cash registers, vending machines, or pockets, are called uncirculated or mint state. The sharpness of their detail, the shine of the metal, and the absence of scratches or dings make them far more valuable to collectors than a worn-out coin. Now imagine this: you find a 1979 quarter, but it's not just any quarter. It has a rare mint error. Maybe it's a double die. Maybe it was struck on the wrong metal blank. And to top it all off, it's in pristine, uncirculated condition. Suddenly, this coin isn't just pocket change. It's a serious collector's item. You might wonder how common these valuable versions are. The truth is, they're rare, but they are out there. Sometimes they're hiding in old coin rolls from the bank. Sometimes they're in coin collections inherited from grandparents. And yes, occasionally, one shows up in someone's coin jar and changes their life. So how do you know if you've struck gold? Look closely at the details. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the lettering. Look for doubling, unusual spacing, or strange textures. If you suspect you've got something unique, it's worth having it appraised by a professional coin grading service. And now, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare 1979 Washington quarters, with a minting error and in flawless, uncirculated condition, it could be worth as much as $75,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $75,000. For a single quarter. It's a reminder that sometimes, treasure doesn't look like a pirate's chest full of gold, it looks like an ordinary coin hiding in plain sight. So check your pockets, search your old piggy banks, and dig through those coin jars. Who knows? The next time you find a 1979 quarter, it might just change your life. Top 3 where ordinary pocket change becomes extraordinary. Today, we're talking about a coin you've probably held in your hand dozens of times without a second thought: the 1988 Washington quarter dollar. But what if I told you that one version of this coin, under the right conditions, could be worth more than most people make in an entire year? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll find out exactly what makes the 1988 quarter so special, and just how much it could be worth if you happen to have the right one. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a cornerstone of U.S. currency since 1932. It was originally introduced to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday and has been minted continuously ever since. By 1988, the design was already a familiar sight: Washington's iconic profile on the front, facing left, with the word Liberty above, the national motto In God We Trust to the left, and the year of mintage at the bottom. You flip the coin over, and you'll see the bold American eagle, wings stretched wide, perched proudly on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches underneath. It's a striking symbol of both power and peace, deeply rooted in American values. But here's the part that most people overlook: not all 1988 quarters are created equal. In 1988, the U.S. Mint produced quarters at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, Denver coins are marked with a small d, and the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins marked with an S. Most of the quarters from this year were intended for everyday use, which means they've been passed from hand to hand for decades. But a small number of these coins, especially those with minting errors, have become incredibly valuable, and now you're probably wondering, what kind of errors are we talking about? Let's dig into that. Some 1988 Washington quarters were struck with what's called a double die error. That means the coin was imprinted twice with slightly shifted designs, creating a subtle but noticeable doubling of letters or numbers. If you look closely, especially at the words Liberty or In God We Trust, you might see a shadow-like doubling that shouldn't be there. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is shifted to one side because the coin wasn't properly aligned during minting. Or coins that were struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a quarter that was accidentally made using a blank meant for a nickel or even a foreign coin. These mistakes are rare, and because the US Mint has very strict quality control, only a few ever make it out into the world, but when they do, collectors go wild. Condition is another crucial factor. Coins that were never used, called uncirculated or mint state, hold far more value than those that are scratched or worn. If you have a 1988 quarter that looks almost brand new, with sharp details and a glossy finish, that's a great sign. Combine that with a rare error? Now you're talking about serious money. So how do you know if your coin is special? It starts with observation. Pull out your magnifying glass, take a close look at the details, check for unusual textures, doubling, or anything that seems off. If you find something that stands out, don't just assume it's nothing. There's a whole world of collectors and coin grading experts who might just confirm that you've struck numismatic gold. And here's the thing that makes this all so exciting: these coins are out there. They've been tucked away in drawers, coin jars, old wallets, and forgotten piggy banks for decades. Every so often, someone stumbles on a rare quarter, has it graded, and discovers they've been holding onto a valuable piece of history. So keep your eyes open. That 1988 quarter you've had sitting in your kitchen drawer might just be something more than loose change. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the big value reveal. That if you happen to have a 1988 Washington quarter in mint state condition with a rare and verified minting error, its value could soar to as much as $65,000. Yes, you heard that right, $65,000. For a single quarter. So don't overlook the ordinary. Because in the world of coin collecting, what looks like pocket change today could be a life-changing discovery tomorrow. Top 4, where we unlock the hidden stories and hidden value behind everyday coins you might just have lying around at home. Today's spotlight is on a coin that's often passed over without a second glance, the 1996 Washington quarter dollar. You might have a few of these sitting in your coin jar or change drawer right now, but here's the question: could one of them be worth a fortune? You might be surprised to learn that a certain rare version of the 1996 quarter has sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Sounds unbelievable? Stick around, because we're about to dig into everything you need to know about this coin, what to look for, and why one of these seemingly ordinary quarters might just be a hidden treasure waiting to be found. Let's start with the history. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932, originally created to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1996, the design had become a trusted staple of American coinage. On the front, we see Washington's well-known profile, surrounded by the word Liberty, the motto In God We Trust, and of course, the date 1996. Flip it over, and there's the iconic bald eagle with its wings stretched wide, perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches below. A symbol of both power and peace, the eagle has long represented the strength and values of the United States. So, what makes the 1996 quarter stand out from all the others minted that year? Well, here's where it gets interesting. In 1996, the U.S. Mint produced quarters at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, indicated by the small P or D just to the right of Washington's ponytail. While hundreds of millions were produced for circulation, not all of them came out exactly the way they were supposed to. Some very rare and unusual mint errors occurred, mistakes that slipped past quality control and ended up in pockets, cash registers, and coin rolls. These mint errors come in several forms. One of the most sought after is the double die error. This happens when the coin design is stamped more than once, but not quite in the same position, creating a slightly doubled look in the text or design. If you look closely at the word Liberty or the phrase In God We Trust and notice a shadowy doubling effect, you may have one of these rare variants. Another highly collectible error is the off-center strike. That's when the coin wasn't properly aligned during the minting process, and part of the design is missing or shifted to one side. It might look strange at first glance, but to collectors, these flaws are like gold. Then, there are the so-called wrong planchet errors, when a quarter is accidentally struck on a metal blank meant for another coin, like a dime or a foreign coin. These are incredibly rare and can significantly increase the coin's value. Now, let's talk condition. Even if your 1996 quarter doesn't have a minting error, its value can still soar if it's in near-perfect condition. Collectors use a grading scale to assess coins, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A coin in mint state condition, meaning it has never been used in circulation, can fetch far more than one that's been bouncing around in pockets for years. So, how do you know if your 1996 quarter is valuable? First, examine it carefully under a magnifying glass. Look for unusual marks, doubling in the text, or off-center designs. Check the coin's edges, surface quality, and mint mark. If anything looks out of the ordinary, you might be holding something special. If you think you found a winner, don't clean it. Cleaning can damage the coin and actually lower its value. Instead, store it safely and consider having it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. They can confirm whether your coin is rare and help you determine its true worth. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. If you happen to own a rare 1996 Washington quarter with a significant minting error and in mint state condition, its value could reach as high as $58,000. That's right, $58,000 for a single quarter. It's incredible to think that a coin you might have gotten as change at a gas station or grocery store could actually be a collector's dream. So don't overlook your spare change, start checking those quarters. You never know what kind of treasure you might discover. Top 5, because we're talking about a coin that might be in your very own collection, the 1974 Washington quarter dollar. This isn't just any old coin. While millions were minted, a very small number have features that make them incredibly rare and highly valuable. How valuable, you ask? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll learn how one version of this quarter could be worth an eye-popping amount, something that could absolutely change your day. Let's rewind to the year 1974. America was going through a time of political upheaval and economic change. Just 1 year away from the nation's bicentennial celebrations, the country was feeling both nostalgic and uncertain. The U.S. Mint, like always, was busy producing coins to meet the needs of a growing economy, and the Washington quarter continued to be a workhorse in American commerce. Now, what makes the 1974 quarter special? At first glance, it looks pretty ordinary. On the front, you've got the familiar portrait of George Washington, facing left. Above him is the word liberty, and to the left, the phrase, "In God we trust." Below is the year 1974. Simple, elegant, patriotic. Flip it over and you'll see the proud bald eagle, wings outstretched, sitting atop a bundle of arrows with olive branches underneath. It's a timeless design, one that symbolizes both peace and strength. But here's the thing, while the design didn't change, some of the coins produced in 1974 came out just a little different, and those little differences? That's where the money is. Let's dive into what collectors are really hunting for when it comes to the 1974 Washington quarter. First up, mint marks. These are the small letters you'll find on the front of the coin, near Washington's hairline, just to the right. A D means the coin was minted in Denver, and no mint mark means it came from Philadelphia. While both mints produced millions of quarters that year, certain rare errors and variations are only found in a handful of them. One of the most sought-after features is what's known as a double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the minting press, but the alignment is just a little off. It causes the letters or numbers on the coin, especially in Liberty or In God We Trust, to look doubled, slightly blurry, or shadowed. These coins are like typos in a best-selling book. They're rare, and that makes them incredibly desirable. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned due to a shift in the blank during minting. Some coins are missing parts of the design entirely, and believe it or not, the more dramatic the error, the more collectors want it. There's also another layer to this story: coins struck on the wrong planchet. A planchet is the metal disc used to make the coin. Sometimes, a quarter might be struck on a planchet meant for a dime or even a foreign coin, creating a rare and fascinating mistake. These wrong planchet errors are extremely rare and can fetch huge prices at auction, but condition matters too. If your 1974 quarter has been heavily used, scratched, worn, or faded, it probably won't bring in much. But if it's in pristine, mint state condition, meaning it shows no signs of circulation and still has its original luster, you've got something worth holding on to. Combine that mint condition with a rare error, and you're in the realm of serious collectors and serious money. So, how can you tell if your coin is special? Start by inspecting the details closely. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling in the lettering. Look at the edges for irregularities. And always check the mint mark. If something looks unusual or out of place, don't ignore it. Your quarter might just be one of the rare ones that slipped through the cracks, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. You're probably wondering, okay, but how much is this coin really worth? Well, if you happen to have a 1974 Washington quarter with a rare minting error and in flawless, uncirculated condition, its value could reach as high as $78,000. Yes, you heard that right, $78,000. For a single quarter, imagine turning something you found in an old coin jar or inherited from a family member into something that could pay off your car, fund a vacation, or even change your financial outlook. That's the magic of coin collecting. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the fascinating world of the 1974 Washington quarter. If you enjoyed the video and want to learn more about coins hiding valuable secrets, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a future discovery. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across a rare coin or if you're heading off right now to dig through your own collection. Until next time, happy collecting, and who knows?